that to the intro question. So, well, awesome. Welcome everybody to our coffee talk. These are designed to be pretty informal because we want to get straight to talking to some really smart people in the industry about what they're seeing, what's working, what's not working, and those kind of things. And so, really fostering this dialogue is a key part of the goal because we really are focused on helping credit unions thrive. And so there's that community aspect that's the mission, but then also the community aspect among credit unions, and we're just delighted to be part of that community. My name is Dan Marks. I'm the president of Infusion Marketing, and just a little bit about our company is entirely focused on helping credit unions and other community-focused financial institutions thrive. So we do that through data, sharing best practices, benchmarking, and then some very specific, tangible marketing programs where we invest our money and get paid on results. So it's that we view it as a true partnership where we're investing money and expertise and helping extend capabilities of awesome clients in the industry. I've got a poll up. We'll keep that open actually through the introduction to make sure everybody has a chance to provide feedback. I spent most of my career in the banking business, so don't hold that against me. And then yeah, Richard, I think everything is muted automatically, so I don't think we have to worry about hearing attendees. So that question in the chat. But yes, I'm a longtime banker. I was the CMO at Hancock Whitney, and before what is now First Horizon. So that's a little bit more about me. Dawn, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dawn Simon, and I am Executive Vice President and Chief Experience Officer at Weoki Federal Credit Union. And I've been at Weoki for 28 years and been in a credit union role for 39 years now.
Awesome. And Jennifer?
Good morning, Jennifer Curtis. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Weoki Federal Credit Union. I have been here 18 years. I have worked my way up from the bottom. I've worked with Dawn a long time. It's a great organization. It was founded in 1969 by the workers at the Western Electric plant in Oklahoma City. We're now a community credit union with about 68,000 members and about 1.4 billion in assets. So Oklahoma City area, we're serving that community.
Awesome. And Oklahoma City has had some national attention recently.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Little championship activity.
Yeah. And two college teams, one's struggling right now and the other one's doing good. The one that matters.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Well, let me share the results of this poll for everybody. So really interesting. So it looks like which is good since we're talking about loans, but loan growth, kind of loan volume, unit growth is a top one or two priority by the most people. NIM improvement is kind of the cousin of that. And then the third looks like new member acquisition. And then there's a few people who rated relationship growth and retention as a one or two priority. And so which is great. I think we will see that the discussion today is really geared to around some tactical and real world areas of how Weoki is doing just that. So we love to make this as interactive as possible. Of course, this coffee talk format, we're interactive among the three of us. But if you have questions, just like love getting the chat already around the walk-on music and the audio questions. So please keep that coming. We'll try to make it as interactive as possible as we go through. So really to get started, everybody on the call gave their feedback from a loan growth perspective. But Dawn and Jennifer, what has been your focus related to loan growth?
I'll let you go ahead, Dawn.
Absolutely. I think for Weoki, our focus has really been on deepening relationships and not just chasing after new members, but moving to more of a household growth model. And that focus has really been set by our relationship with Infusion. Prior to that, I feel like we were in a more of a product chasing model where we would just be promoting that next best thing and not really focusing on the overall household relationship. And I'll let Jennifer talk a little bit more about what that means.
For sure. I mean, it's so expensive to bring in brand new members. We all need them. That's definitely a growth driver. But the low hanging fruit is your existing membership. I mean, they've got a relationship with you already, and just being able to re-engage with those people, make sure that you are at top of mind, because you're not going to hit them all the time when they need that car loan. But if you do that omni-channel experience, you got this messaging out there, hopefully we are at top of mind, and they'll come to us and seek us for all kinds of solutions. So that's kind of how our focus has been. Back in the day, very much so bread and butter, auto loans, still very much so, but we're broadening that scope and just looking at opportunities rather than just those targeted campaigns. There's so many optimizations we can do here and there, and really just kind of gather up more business with what we currently have. So that's kind of how it shifted for us, really.
Yeah. So you talked about how it's kind of the classic, product push, and it's really broadened to more relationship. Yeah. So how did you identify those opportunities to shift that focus?
You guys helped us a lot with that, honestly. We thought we knew what we knew, but you guys, it's just a wealth of data that internally we could never have. So it's really the insights, and we're all looking at data all of the time, but when you're getting a lot of raw data thrown at you, and you only have so many time and resources, that this partnership with Infusion really took care of that. And that was a game changer for us.
I think for us, our journey we really started the partnership, or at least the discussions, and had our first opportunity assessment in late November, I think 2023, if my recollection is correct. And if you recall those times for all of us, things were a bit different. Liquidity had been really tight. The rates had fallen off, and we weren't in that low rate environment that we had been in for years and years. And it was a perfect time for us to sit down and identify what could our new roadmap look like. And I think at that time, we started to really focus on the total households and focusing on our single service relationship members and trying to move them into a multi-service household and deepen that relationship. And we've all heard the same thing year after year. How much easier it is. How easy is it to strengthen the relationship of an existing member versus going out and trying to get a new member? So that's where we really started to take notice after we received the first opportunity assessment and said, oh, wow, we do have a lot of opportunities right in our own backyard.
Awesome. Can you unpack a little bit more what kind of data or perspective in that opportunity assessment helped give you the insight beyond, just what you were seeing kind of in your own data?
Absolutely. Jennifer, did you want to take that?
Yes. It really just showed us where we were doing really, really good and where there was opportunity. And beyond that, even though the data was so thorough and gave you the insights you needed, but the benefit really of Infusion is you guys have an action plan too. It's all encompassing, and that we all need an easy button. Everything's moving so fast. Resources are tight. So it's work smarter, not harder. And this really, really, it just was almost a roadmap that you guys came at us with. And it's really kind of a playbook now for us, like strategically to look at every year. You know, we've got another one coming up. This will be our third, and it's really exciting to see where we were, where we're at, and where we can go. So
Awesome.
it's just so comprehensive that it's hard to kind of put into words. It's so much information.
I think if I think back, though, Dan, we were at that time, and really it still tends to be what we focus on, not only just the single service accounts that I mentioned. We focus on the relationship shares, or the checking accounts, if you will, and some lending areas. And specifically, the lending areas that we focused on are direct lending versus indirect, for auto loans, and then home equity loans and personal loans. So really kind of honing in on the checking, the auto loans, and just getting more focused on what the total household looks like versus trying to sell the next product to anybody that we can sell it to.
Yeah.
It allowed us to really kind of focus more on direct lending, and we do indirect. That's a great growth driver, but that's harder really to capture those people. They're not as sticky, and we have to pay the dealer back ends. So this is much more efficient for us and our bottom line to be able to focus on us getting those loans.
Yeah, for sure. And so was that, it sounds like what you're saying is that kind of that idea of understanding each individual member's capacity and propensity to buy helps you be more relevant to what their needs are, as opposed to just kind of, blanketing the universe.
Agreed. Like we're not throwing darts. Like there's a definite target that we're focused in on, and we're hitting that. Because it's overwhelming. I mean, we all get so many emails every day, so many marketing messages that you come down to it becomes overwhelming. So it really needs to be intentional, well thought through to get that engagement and to get action and loan applications.
Truly personalize the needs. Yeah. So, and maybe for those folks watching, or if yourself, could you take a few minutes just to describe kind of the opportunity assessment is, what actually it is, and maybe in your own words, what is it? What are some of the information that you walk through?
Okay. It's definitely like an annual deep dive into our membership data. It's so comprehensive. I think it's like 50 pages long, and it's free. So that's great. Like that's what sold me at the beginning. I was like, what do I have to lose? Let's do this.
Yeah.
And then it was just eye-opening when we did get it. But it's looking at all the household accounts. It's standardizing them into categories and these campaigns that we're going after, and it has benchmarks. It's pure norms, but the data points, like there's so much data, and it's so useful. It's so much. It's looking at that capacity, like you said, propensity awareness, looking at single service penetration, kind of the loan and checking overlap. It's just kind of taking really, really complex data and giving us like simple directives and highlighting quick wins, which we all love.
Yeah.
I love the benchmarking data that the opportunity assessment supplies, because, you can think you're doing great until you compare yourself to peer and say, oh, wow, I thought that campaign was really successful. But when I look across my peers, it wasn't that great. Our actual data has come out the opposite way I just described, though we have been above peer, and that shocked us because maybe we didn't perceive that what we were doing was as good, if not better, than peer. So I think it also tells you, okay, I did great in that area, but I'm not great on my checking penetration. So that's an area that we've identified that we have to work on. And obviously the single service households, I keep talking about that, but the opportunity assessment really did bring that to light to say, you've got, I think ours was like, you've got 45 million in balances in your own backyard that you don't have, or they're sitting in single service households. So let's do something with that.
I'd agree. It's let us be more strategic instead of reactive, which can be very overwhelming. And it really gives some credibility, and the executive leadership team, like they bought into it immediately when they saw just like how much insight it provided and seeing the opportunity ahead of us based on what we have now as far as our membership base.
Yeah, and so you're talking about just that strategic conversation. It sort of helps you. What I think I'm hearing is it helps you say, "Hey, there's all these things we could do, but let's really identify and prioritize on what are the really key things that we need to focus on." Helps you. So, and is that kind of the strategic conversation you're talking about?
For sure. It gave clarity. I would say credibility by looking at the peer norms. You guys have control groups that you will, look at metrics against to kind of see exactly how well we're doing. And it's real data. And then it gave us confidence, honestly. So it's hard numbers.
Building on that comment that Jennifer made about the control group, it's such an interesting concept and nothing that we could have internally pulled off ourselves, but Enfusion does take out a control group and run the campaign each quarter. And then at the end, when you're doing the deep dive and looking at the results of the campaign, there's this set out control group that basically tells you, if I hadn't run this campaign, this is how loan growth would have looked for me during this time period. And, the numbers just tell the truth. And I feel like the amount of data that you get out of the opportunity assessment is far beyond anything that we could do in our own shop. We're all in probably the same position, if I had to guess right now, related to data. We're building data warehouses. We're working on sharing information. I can speak for our credit union. We're not there yet. I would say we're somewhere in the middle of all of that and working hard. But from a marketing perspective, you have to have that data to be able to make the right next decision, especially in the changing rate environment, economically, all the things that are happening around us. Having the data from Enfusion has just been so valuable, because even depending on where you are in your data journey, if you're really far, that's great. It's just going to strengthen and work as a right arm to sort of tell you what your data means if you don't have the right data analyst positions inside your credit union, or if your marketing team's not focused on reading the data. It's going to help you there. If you're in the very beginning of your data journey, then this is hands down going to be super valuable for you. When we started our relationship with Enfusion in late 2023, and we really kicked off in 2024, our first campaign, we were at the very beginning of our data journey, and it just became so valuable because we couldn't get the data that we needed from our IT and data team. And that's changed since then. But I do feel like the partnership that we've developed, you can trust that they're looking at trends far beyond your organization to give you a good strategic roadmap. And we use it at the executive level to help us see where we've gone and where we're headed for the upcoming year as well.
Yeah. So you're talking about that kind of perspective, sort of beyond your data, the context of, okay, how norms and perspective that really adds to your own data. So.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you get it annually, like, it really was interesting to see that first opportunity assessment versus our second. And it did validate progress. It gave real data, real proof points for us to show the board, for us to show the executive leadership team, where we were at. And it did show, like, checking balances were up year over year, but CDs and direct lending balances have declined. But we kind of looked at that first quarterly campaign that we kicked off with you guys, I believe it was like May 23. And by far the amount of loans and deposits it brought in, I think it's 28 million, like doubled the forecast that you guys had for us. And it showed that it offset those declines. So it kind of gave us that safety net and was like, oh, we're doing way better than we would have had we not done this.
Yeah, and key point there, we did double the forecast that was set for us. So talk about, under promising and over delivering from the standpoint of us convincing our CEO to take this leap of faith with us and go on this journey. At first, it might seem like, wow, this is going to be a lot, and it seems difficult. Not the case. Not the case at all. You know, we set up a data feed that goes directly to Infusion, and once you get that up and running, it is literally you just earned a whole data team that's at your disposal overnight. And I think that was super great for us to be able to, on the back end, calculate ROI on everything that we're doing, and in turn justify the expense of running the campaigns. And I'm openly sharing that our expense or our ROI has just improved every single month that we've been in the relationship, and the product, it's pay to play, and for us definitely has been worth the investment.
Awesome. And can you talk more about, from your perspective, how that pay per performance works from your point of view?
That gave us a lot of buy-in. That gave credit, because that showed you guys stand behind your product. And that's really what the CEO is like, let's try this, let's do it. I do love that, but it does give you confidence. And our cost per acquisition, you know, that can be so high as a marketing professional, but we've got it down as low as like $34. Like, that's significantly lower than I could do anywhere else. And the data doesn't lie. I'm bringing in balances that were from those targeted campaigns, but also ones that just incrementally came from other products and services. It's definitely powerful.
And I think for us too, you know, there's a threshold, and once you hit that threshold, you don't pay another dollar past the threshold that's set. So as Jennifer mentioned, you know, our cost per acquisition is down to $34. If you hit your threshold and be as lucky as we are to hit the threshold on Q1, the rest of the year, you're paying nothing, and your cost per acquisition is only going down. So as we get to Q4, you know, that's where we landed last year, $34 cost of acquisition. I don't know about anyone on this call, but we don't have anything else that the cost per acquisition is as low as $34. You know, we've paid for loan refi business, we've paid for checking accounts, and certainly we can't tout anything else that low. And for us again this year, we hit the cap on Q1, so we're excited to see if we beat our 2024 CPA this year. I think we're going to.
Nice. So you're saying that the indirect dealer discount is not that low?
Oh goodness. Yeah, not even close. And it's really made us focus and think about, we have to change our internal thinking to not be so reliant on indirect and go after that direct loan business. And that's been a focus for us, especially in 2025, not so much in 2024, but as rates are starting to change a little bit, we're going to continue to have that conversation internally, because those indirect loans, at least in our region, are not getting cheaper, and I'm sure it's the same everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. What are can you share any of the particular insights that pop out in your mind on, just, you talked about optimizing and refining along the way, that CPA continuing to drop. Any insights stand out that you've learned along the way?
I would say that you guys were really good about, in the past, we've gotten pressure that we've got to throw money, you've got to do an incentive, got to do a drastic rate cut or this teaser rate, even on certificates. And honestly, like, that's very expensive, and it's a lot to manage, etc. But you guys would come in with that data and be like, you don't have to do that. Like, you really don't. Like, it just needs to be a fair deal, and we'll do this correctly. We'll hit them on a lot of fronts, you know, digitally, email, mail, which another selling point for me was that there's no additional ad spend. I'm not doing postage costs like that. It's all included, which is huge in itself too. I don't have a variable budget, like knowing that it's all taken care of under one umbrella is really, really nice. But it speaks for itself, really.
Awesome.
I think a couple of standouts for me, maybe along the way have been, 2024, 14.9 million in loan balances for our shop.
Mhm.
Our household loan balances have increased by $18,000 per household year over year. I think that's super big. And our cost per acquisition, of course, is another standout for me that just keeps improving. I think Jennifer touched on it as well. The fact that Infusion has the omni-channel approach where you're hitting, email, snail mail, social, is just reinforcing our brand with our existing members and giving more touch points. We're all running to do as many things as we can at once, right? Our direct marketing, internal marketing team is doing everything they can 24/7, and it just feels like Infusion is an extension of that team, and like that we have, I don't know how many staff members you have, but it feels like we have 10 more staff members on our marketing team, really living our brand for us.
Yeah, very well. That very well said. I mean, and we love feeling like that of being, extension of your team, because we've, and part of it is we've been in the chair. We know how challenging it is. I have not yet met a marketing team that says, "Oh yeah, I'm fully staffed." So that's the reality. Just the reality is there's always more work to do than people to do it. So
yeah, and the data science and the MarTech expertise, we don't have that in house. I'm not sure if we'll ever have that in house. It really is an extension of the team, and that's a science and art. Like it's its own animal, and you guys take it as far as you can.
Yeah, just being able to track the campaigns, the lending campaigns, all of it, lending deposit campaigns, and go back to the leadership team and to be able to say, hey, this is what this promotion has done this quarter, and I can directly track it, correlate it, and tell you these are the balances that were gained from the campaign. Sometimes in a small shop, and we don't have a big marketing staff.
Mhm.
You can spend a lot of time deep diving into data to support your efforts and support your budget and all the things that marketing professionals have to do. And I feel like it's done for you. We really involve our executive team on those quarterly assessments to tell us, hey, this is what happened. This is what the spend was. Here's our CPA. This is where we're looking, because we really want their buy-in. Like Jennifer said, we felt like when we convinced would be the right word, our CEO to take a chance on this. He wasn't fully maybe in agreement, but he had enough confidence in us and our decision that he would give it a try. You could not find a person now here, almost 2 years later, that is more all in on this. He will be the first to admit. His name is Jeff Carpenter. If you ever see him at an event, ask him what he thinks about Infusion, and he will gush because of the trackability and the fact that he can draw a line back with the data to show what it's done for us.
wow, that's awesome.
And your quarterly reporting is awesome. Like it tells the story right there. It's a monkey off my back. You guys have it handled. You present it in such a way that executive leadership and the board can't help but be like thrilled with what we're doing.
Yeah, the tracking's amazing.
Yeah, like I think 12-month period. I think when we started in April 24 to then I guess that would probably be May of 25. I think it was 172 million in incremental. Let me see about that.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's correct. 170.
60 million of it was directly to those targeted campaigns, but the other just came from the fringes, and we collected it and had 111 million in Halo balances. So that alone, our CEO was thrilled.
Yeah.
Little yeah. Yeah, well, and one thing I think that even when we hear, even when a team like I said, even if there's some data resources internally, one of the is the perspective is only maybe one specific geography. You know, a big bank, they might have a data services team, but they can compare multiple states and try different things in different geographies. And so one of the cool things that we hear all the time from clients is, okay, you kind of act as an extension of my test and learn. You're giving me a perspective that I wouldn't have because of, I don't have access to multiple states and those kind of things. And so, you know, it's cool to hear that shows up. Cool. You talked about, and it's great to hear some examples of results. Any others to highlight? Or those are some awesome ones though that you already shared. No worries. Let's actually see if the audience, we got quite a few attendees. Looking at the chat, anybody have questions for Jennifer or Dawn or both of them? Just chat that in the.
I'll tell you though, you guys having the control groups when we're looking at the data, showing us what we would have left on the table had we not done it, that is also powerful in itself. Like that speaks volumes that it's engaging, people are acting on it, and it is bringing in revenue.
Makes sense.
I think based even on the poll that you put up before we started, there isn't an answer that was on the poll if that is currently your focus right now, that this won't assist with. You know, loan growth, obviously, hands down, it has driven our balances more than we had been able to do. And it's mining in your own backyard. It's mining your existing membership. Same with checking growth. From our perspective, we've struggled a little bit more to be closer to peer on our checking penetration. We are definitely making progress on that, and Infusion's even helped share, you know, what tweaks and what changes could we make to our existing product lineup to not only be more profitable, but to engage more members and increase penetration. I think that's been extremely valuable. And I think the halo effect that we've talked about a little bit is things like if you get that single service member more engaged, they're remembering us next time for that new auto loan or that home equity loan. They're engaging with us more, and that's really what it's about, to be their primary financial institution and to get them to think about us top of wallet, to pull out our debit card. We didn't even really touch on the debit card piece at all, but there's a debit card campaign that you can layer in to a relationship with Infusion, and we decided to do that because we felt like, you know, swipes were really important to us. It's interchange income. It's a way to help get some income in a shrinking environment that we're in. And our debit card growth has been massive, you know, in the time period that we engaged in those campaigns. So I think that's been a really nice little silent byproduct that we didn't even expect to happen. But obviously, you know, the big story for us has been both loan and deposit growth has been phenomenal.
Awesome. Great stuff. Any other final comments as we get closer to our scheduled end time?
No, but just the value of being able to cross-sell, deepen those relationships. It just makes it stickier and that's more sustainable. It's just a win-win. Like we want to get them as many products as possible, and the cross-sell and upsell like is really, really, really good at getting that done.
Awesome.
I agree with Jennifer. I think, focusing on profitable, sustainable, and sticky loan growth by deepening your understanding of the member households and industry benchmarks are really my final summary of what this could do for your shop.
Well, thanks for saying that. Awesome. We have, awesome. All right. Well, we'll do one final poll as we wrap up. So we are testing and learning everything we do, including everything we talked about. So we'd love for, as we wrap up, to have the attendees share what is the most valuable part of this session to you. It helps you attend. And then, if anyone on the call would like to explore the type of benefit for your institution that Dawn and Jennifer talked about, we would love to do that complimentary opportunity assessment. So that is that, just like they shared, that's where we start with a deep dive in your data, provide perspective, and we do that on a complimentary basis because it's kind of a mutual way. We give you some value, we get to know, because one of the things that we do is we want to make sure that we can deliver results since we're investing our own money on that pay per performance basis. So if you want to talk about that, just reply when we send the email out or shoot me a direct message, and we can go from there. But yeah, thanks so much for providing the feedback. We'll give a round of applause to Dawn and Jen for their time this morning. And obviously, I assume that if people in the industry want to reach out to you guys to talk, you're available on LinkedIn for connections and those kind of things.
Absolutely. Dan, it looks like someone did ask a question. David asked, what was the aha moment that sold you on this?
Yeah.
I think for me, the answer is that opportunity assessment that you just mentioned. At the time, again, I keep mentioning the time frame, but it was the end of 2023, and we were looking for a way to drive growth, do something different from what we had always been doing. Let's decide what the lineup is for our products and services for next year, and how we're going to promote everything, which is generally what we all do in our shops, right? You've got every department coming at you saying, promote me, promote this product, and how do you fit it all in? So we were looking for something different. Infusion had approached us about doing an opportunity assessment. And when we learned, well, it's not a cost to us, let's hear what they have to say. Let's see if they have a different perspective than what we've had. And we brought them in and they presented it. And you can't walk away from seeing your own data broken down the way that they smartly do, and not decide that you're leaving a lot on the table. And that was the aha moment for us.
Yeah, it's not a canned program. Like, it's specific to us, our membership base, what the data shows, and gives us what's going to work for Weoki. Like, so many other vendors come to you with like this canned, program that it's supposed to work for everyone, but it's so individualized and capitalizes on those opportunities and lets us get those quick wins. Like I said, like that's the first thing. That first quarterly campaign review, that after that 3-month period, I think that was the aha for me, maybe. And I think I saw that in Jeff, our CEO's eyes too. He was like, okay, I was pretty thrilled with that opportunity assessment, but now I'm seeing that we're working towards those goals. And he was able to see exactly like ROI being driven immediately, which that's what we want to do as marketing professionals. We don't want them to doubt that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing and that we're getting the results that we intended. So that for me was the aha. I was like, okay, now I'm feeling really good.
Fantastic. Yeah. So if anybody wants that aha themselves, we'd love to schedule time, talk through what it looks like, and like you guys mentioned, it's a very quick process. So we set up with the data that you have available, and then get you kind of rapidly to that unique assessment. So
And you guys have sat in our seats, like you said, like that is just a wealth of knowledge that I appreciate. I've got a great rep, Aaron, and I'll pick his brain about things other than infusion. Even it's the level of service, attention. It's by far something I don't have with any other vendor, unfortunately. But I appreciate it.
well, awesome. Yep. Well, thank you both. We appreciate you making the time to share these insights, and for the great work we're able to do together. Yeah, it's fun since we did sit in the seat. We sort of invented what we wanted, and we benefited. So, yeah. Well, thank you again, and have a great weekend.
You
Thank
as well.
you.
Thanks. Thanks. See you in a little bit.